Thank you for welcoming me onto your screens or onto your headphones, depending on how you're watching this. I'm Eddie, and this is The Rollback. Folks, I'm here to talk to you today about Pinocchio. A.K.A. Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio, a.k.a. the best of all these fucks. Yeah, it's better than all of them. So, Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio was a passion project for Mr. Del Toro. He's been trying to get it financed and worked on for quite some time. Financing kept falling through because of how expensive stop motion animation is, but nonetheless, he finally had it made. He wrote the songs himself, and I'm happy to say that this film is incredible. But real quick, let's get to the synopsis. So, in 1930s Italy, a man by the name of Geppetto loses his son due to the war that's going on. He loses his son... Anyway, he loses his son, makes a wish. He wants to care for a child. He wants his son back. Well, he doesn't get Carlo back, but he does get a new child in the form of Pinocchio, a wooden puppet that he creates somewhat in the form of his son. But everything's a little strange. Geppetto's trying to refine the way how to be a father. Pinocchio is a really rambunctious child who doesn't understand basic things like limits or rules. And also it doesn't help that they're in 1930s fascist Italy, ladies and gentlemen. So that's the setting of this film, and I have nothing but praise to sing about this film, from how beautiful it looks. I don't think you could do it if it was live action. I think it would be off-putting. But the way that this film looks, how beautiful it is, it's not off-putting more as it is a piece of art. Everything is designed carefully, from Geppetto to Pinocchio to Sebastian, aka Jiminy Cricket, to pretty much every character. It looks beautiful, but also it sounds beautiful. The music, as I was told by Chema, was actually made by Del Toro himself. He actually wrote all the music himself, which is, indicative of a passion project for somebody. Now, I can't speak for everyone, but I can speak to myself when I say that this movie had a bit of a heartbreaking story to it. Not in a bad way, but more in a tragic sense. You know, the first part of the film is dedicated to the relationship between Carlo and Geppetto. Geppetto being a loving, dutiful father who cares about his son. But due to happenstance and circumstance, his son passes away, unfortunately. Geppetto sinks into depression, begins to drink, and as the years go by, a tree grows where Carlo's grave is, and Geppetto uses that wood to create a puppet in a form, a real boy, wishes upon a wood nymph? I think that's it. And Pinocchio comes to life. At the same time, Sebastian, again, aka Jiminy Cricket, but we call him Sebastian, played by one Obi-Wan Kenobi, and the stepson. He wants to write his great novel. He wants to be a great writer. He promises the wood nymph, I will watch over the boy as best I can, and that's all you can ask of me. Like, all you can ask is the best that someone can possibly do. Fair enough. And then we get this really strong emotional roller coaster where, to me at least, and I understand everyone will get this film differently, to me, this film was about the relationship between a father and a son. It was the difficulties in trying to figure each other out, because you're two different individuals. There's bound to be some friction there. And man, it's not often that a film can get me emotional, but this film did. It managed to do so. And it's about a wooden puppet that does not exist, ladies and gentlemen. But it's so good. Del Toro is so great at telling this heartfelt, simple, low-end story that just resonates with you. And you can't help but at first, I disliked Pinocchio and how annoying he was as a kid, but as it goes on, you see him being affected by his experiences in his life, slowly becoming more and more mature, or at least being forced to become more mature because of the circumstance. They're in fascist Italy. And you get some of that too. There are Nazi salutes in this movie, which kind of lend credence to the mistakes. There's another father-son relationship, I believe his name is Candlewick, and his father, who have more of a volatile relationship because, why aren't you perfect, son? Why aren't you doing this? Why aren't you doing that? It's a juxtaposed to Geppetto and Pinocchio, where Geppetto just wants Pinocchio to be a good kid, and initially he wants him to be like Carlo, but eventually Geppetto accepts he is not Carlo. He's his own person. He accepts that and learns to love it. and then it goes on. And the ending of this film, I'm not going to say is depressing, but it's like at the end of the number 23, the Jim Carrey film, he says it's not necessarily a happy ending, but it's the right one. This movie has somewhat of a happy ending, but it's also the right ending. Pinocchio sacrifices immortality to save his father. Jiminy Cricket uses his wish, not in the way I was expecting, but uses his wish nonetheless. And again, we get a lot of heartfelt moments going forward. But this film, I can't recommend it. As far as cons for this film, I mean, really the only thing I can really say about it is the fact that I can understand how the themes of war may turn some people away. But as it stands right now, I believe this film is at like a 97% audience score on Rotten Tomato, which makes sense. It's a great film. As far as the grade for this film, obviously it's going to be an A. It's a great movie. I do recommend it to everybody. Not just a Christmas film, but a great film in general. That said, that's going to wrap it up for this episode of The Rollback. Please like and subscribe. We greatly appreciate it. We're always trying to grow this channel. Also, maybe check out our podcast. We have the link down below. We greatly appreciate it. We're always trying to grow this channel, the podcast, and everything. We've been going up with subscribers. We appreciate everything that y'all do for us. That said, I'm Eddie.